and welcome to the Frank Partnership Weekly Podcast. So, we've just finished our webinar for the week with all of the partners logging in from around the country, and I'm just going to give you a quick summary of some of the stuff that we covered on the webinar just now. Okay, so first off, we covered a few updates from people around the country, and we did a review of people's 90-day plans. So we on Tuesday last week we all got together and planned out the next 13 weeks of our businesses, the top 10 to 15 focuses for our business and our lives. So, for example, you might have one on there health. You might have one on there. So when we say health, you might have nutrition on there. You might have cardiovascular fitness on there. And then you might have marketing for your business. So if you're in a property business, you might have vendor marketing, off-market vendor marketing. You might have on-market vendor marketing. You might have marketing for full market value investors, marketing for finance investors. So you have a different line for every single area of your life that you want to improve. And then in the columns, so you've got your goals here. In the columns, you've got your weekly tasks. So you've got 13 weeks, and what are you actually going to do each week? What are you going to measure in order to check that you're on track to achieve success in that area of your life? So we reviewed a few people's plans, and we've got some awesome plans in place for the next quarter. So we are planning quarter 2 at the moment. So we're planning April, May, June of this year, and some really good plans, and people have really, I can see people are putting in or planning to put in the activity levels, the focused activities that they need to get done in order to ramp their businesses up to the success levels that they are wanting for themselves, really. So that was very positive. We did a quick poll on the number of profit generating activities, or the number of hours that people spent doing profit generating activities in the last week, and that was quite telling. We had 60% of the partners were spending between 2 and 5 hours. Now, last week was an unusual week because we had our partner round table on Monday and then our monthly training day on Tuesday. So a lot of people spent 2 full days, 10 till 6 days, in training. So their weeks were condensed. I thought that was quite low. 2 to 5 hours on profit generating activities is not that much. So profit generating activities are things that are directly going to lead to profitability. So anything in your sales funnel, anything in your marketing funnel, any delivery that leads directly to income. So let's use some examples there. Marketing might be delivering leaflets. Sales might be conducting telephone fact finds or help visits, going out to visit vendors, making offers. And in terms of generating income directly, it might be doing a tenant move-in, for example, because that's going to bring the money in straight away. Things that aren't PGAs are admin, zone time, and what else might it be? Bookkeeping, that kind of stuff. We had 60% at 2 to 5 hours, 10% at 6 to 10 hours, 10% at 10 to 14 hours, and then we had 20% of the partners spending 15 or more hours last week on profit generating activities. And I spoke to one of the guys who had spent 18 hours last week on directly profit generating activities, and he gave me 7 reasons why last year, so we're in March now, last year he was getting done about 10% of what he gets done now in terms of PGAs. And I asked him why. Why before Christmas was he so ineffective? And he had been for a lot of last year, and now he's like gone into hyperdrive in terms of getting what needs to be done. And he gave me 7 reasons, and I think these are really useful reasons to share with you. The first was he gets his state raised, so he called it his spirit up. But basically, he gets himself in a positive mindset, and he does that by filling out a wins log. So every time he has a little victory in his day or in his week, he writes it down on a little spreadsheet. I've had this win today, and it just makes him feel, when he reviews that and when he writes that, it makes him feel awesome. So that's the first one. The second one, and this is really common with property investors, he was spotting a plot of land. That's one of his strategies, his land assembly. He was spotting a plot of land and researching the people, where their companies were, checking their company accounts. If they were in a posh area, he was writing them a posh letter. If they were in a less affluent area, he was writing them a more basic letter, and just taking loads of time when most land assembly letters are not even going to be answered. Then they're going to be no's. So he now spots the plot, bangs out his template letter. So he's gone from sending on that strategy 4 or so letters a week through to sending 40 or 50 a week. So he's really ramped up his level of activity. He has made himself accountable. You can't hold someone accountable. He is making himself accountable to me. He emails me every week now to say, Frank, this is how many letters I have sent out this week on this strategy. So knowing that he's going to send that at the end of the week, knowing that he's got his own personal KPI, key performance indicator, for 10 letters a day, is making him do that. And the results are following. The number of inquiries he's getting now are much higher. The deals that he's doing will also rise. He's now using a default diary. So he's planned his week in advance, and he wants to do this on a Monday, this on a Tuesday, this on a Wednesday, etc. But the example he used is, if his granddaughter needs babysitting, he really wants to babysit and spend the day with her. But what used to happen is he would do that and just miss a day's work. But now what he does is he does that because family's a really high value of his, so he does babysit for the day, but he'll rearrange. So he might work a Saturday instead, so that he keeps his momentum in his business. And that's a really important balance to achieve. It's really important to achieve that balance between work and social. And if you do rearrange your week, make sure that nothing loses out. Use your default diary to maintain that balance. Have one day off completely each week. That's a really important priority, I think, for everyone, to have one day when they have no calls, no meetings, no emails, absolutely 100% in relaxation mode. And it means that in the other 6 days or 5 days, you get so much more done. He called himself a ineffective workaholic. He was always working last year, which is ironic because he got so little done, but he was always on. So he was always on call, on in work mode. And now what he says is he's either 100% working, so he's 100% focused, or he's 100% playing. He's not fudging the boundaries, and he says it's been really liberating for him. And finally, he said the support of the Frank Partnership has been massive for him. So the partners on the partnership having access to me via phone, email, face-to-face is really making the difference for him. So I thought I'd share that with you because, quite frankly, he's raised his amount of time that he's spending on profit-generating activities from 12 to 18 hours a week. And you'd think, well, that's only a 50% rise, but he's getting 10 times as much done. And that really is phenomenal, and I can attest to that because I get a weekly email from him telling me how many emails how many letters he's sent out, and how focused he is on his business. So I thought that was a really interesting thing to notice, really, in one of the partners. He's not the only partner. There are quite a few that are really raising their level of attainment. And on the Frank Partnership, we talk about unavoidable results. And the basic principle is, if you put in the hard work, success is inevitable. And for that gentleman, it absolutely is inevitable because he's putting in the right activity and he's focused and he's taking action. Okay, then we had our deal surgery, and I'll share 2 deals with you. The first one was a really interesting one. It was a 5-bed house, originally a 2 and a 3 bed, and it's still on 2 separate titles. And no, sorry, it's on 1 title. That's the problem. It's on 1 title. Purchase price, offers been made and accepted at 130. The 2 houses will be worth a combined total of 220 when they're done, and the works will cost about 45 grand to put bathrooms in, kitchens, and do them up. Then it's not in a good condition, which will bring costs to 175, and Val will be at 220. Rent will be 1250, so 1250 a month for the 2 houses combined. And so we talked about whether this was a deal, how it might work. It's gone through probate. The gentleman that's living in it at the moment wants to remain living in it, and so we worked out how the partner could buy it and still allow the guy to live in it and rent it back, because obviously it's now not permissible to buy a property from someone and then rent it back to them. However, we have 3 strategies, all FCA compliant, for doing sale and rent back without falling foul of any of the regulations. Very important that you don't fall foul of those regulations. I believe they're criminal, actually. And so the partner in that instance is using one of our strategies to enable him to remain in the property and rent it back afterwards, which is great. And we worked out that if she refinanced, she's going to buy cash at 130. She's going to use her own cash to do the works. While she's doing the work, she can split the title. Once the works are done and the title's split, she can then refinance each house individually. We worked out it would bring in 176,000 in lending at 80%. 80% seems quite attainable now in the buy-to-let market, which would she's got costs of 175. She's obviously got purchase costs, so she'll probably leave 10 grand in it. But the return is about 500 a month across the 2 properties, net profit. So really good ROI. What's that? A 20-month cashback on that 10 grand, which will then produce an infinite amount. So it's 500 a month for no money left in after 20 months. That's pretty good in my book. So we worked out that was a good deal. The second deal was a partner had found one about 4 hours away from where he lives. He thought it was an interesting deal. He was asking me whether it was a good deal, and my answer was, if you're having to ask whether it's a good deal and it's 4 hours away from you, don't buy it, because you need to know your area. You need to know your goldmine area really well. We work on the partnership in geographic counties, so even a county is hard to be an expert at all of the county, but you generally pick towns that you're going to do your deals in within the county. What I suggested to him would be to speak to the partner that's in that county, and if they want a JV on it, then you know it's a good area. If they don't want a JV on it, then don't bother, because it's a good deal. Perhaps in a good area, perhaps in a poor area, but if they don't want to touch it, then there's your answer. You know that it's not a good deal. So really be cautious. As soon as you move out of your area, the risks go up quite considerably. Just to be mindful of investing on your own doorstep, really. Or if it's not on your doorstep, so we have some partners that live in London, for example, and invest in other parts of the country, so Manchester or Stoke or Liverpool or wherever, Plymouth, I think we've got one investing. So it's fine to invest where you don't live and to just go there 1 day a week, 2 days a week, and build your portfolio there, build your property investment company there. But don't, if your area is Manchester, don't then go and pick one up in Derby or Liverpool, because you don't know those areas, you don't have the team, you don't have the leverage, and that's how you lose lots of money in property, by buying outside of your your sphere of expertise. And that was pretty much it for this week. We obviously did a lot more detail. We did a few more reviews and stuff, but just a quick insight into the Frank Partnership this week. If you have enjoyed this podcast, feel free to go on to the Frank Partnership website and take a look at some of the resources we have for you. We have a template 90-day plan on there. So if you want to write your own 90-day plan, there's a template one there you can download for free and plan your next 13 weeks so that you can really get the most juice possible out of the effort that you're going to put into your business over the next quarter. Have a great week, guys. Have a marvellous Monday. Take care. God bless.